Yorushka. This song is called Aporia, and I am particularly interested in this for a couple of reasons as we continue our track by track listen through to the second person album. Now, the first one is the very first frame you get here. Look, I don't know where this is going to go, but I know that Yorushka have some very good music videos, and I just immediately love the art style we've got going on here. But the second thing is that name, Aporia. Now, it's written in katakana, which is the alphabet usually used in Japanese when you're trying to phonetically spell a word that is itself not a Japanese word. So I thought, well, I'll look it up, see what it means, because I've not heard the word aporia before. I don't know what that means. Looked it up, and it says aporia. Well, it means aporia. It's not like one of those ones where maybe there might be a little bit of confusion and it kind of suddenly clicks when you see it. So I typed it into Google and it came up with this rather interesting explanation, although unfortunately through AI, so apologies if it's completely wrong, which has happened in the past. But it seems this is backed up by the Wikipedia entry over here. But it says aporia, I think I'm already pronouncing it wrong, refers to a state of puzzlement, a logical impasse, or rhetorical expression of doubt. The term comes from the ancient Greek word aporia, literally meaning impasse or without passage. That's really interesting. I mean, that as a title is a very interesting title. So, yeah, and given this kind of beautifully artistically drawn Inception like landscape, I don't know what to get from this, but I'm just kind of, I don't know, this just kind of has me filled with a sense of intrigue. I guess possibly the opposite of Aporia if I'm intrigued and ready to dive into more. But let's find out. Let's see what we get from this, and let's see if by the end we are left at a logical impasse or not. I was not expecting it to come in so funky. More playful time signatures, that's always cool to hear. Love how the rhythm's flying over that time signature. What are the windmills with different numbers of blades? I feel there's a lot of interesting messaging in here. Loving that kind of banjo-like sound on the left there. Again, it's a song that throws so many little interesting sounds in, but it works because the time signature just breaks it up beautifully. That's just gorgeous. I gotta be honest, like the layering in this is absolutely stunning. Wow. Kind of something about having like the sort of, it's probably not a banjo, but a banjo sound, the mandolin together. Such a lovely combination. melody and everything's so nice and big and rewarding in the chorus. Oh, okay. I gotta be entirely honest with you. Where do I start on this one? It's hard not to think on first listen. This has got to be my favorite song on the album so far. So this song goes far beyond really a lot of the things that I had already complimented the rest of the album for. And yet it does keep those qualities that the rest of the album has. So let's just get the obvious things out of the way. Let's say it all together. The instrumentation sounds beautiful. It has this tangible quality where everything feels real. You really get to hear the presence of the instruments. There's beautiful instrument use. There's this wonderful way that all of the sounds intertwine together and that everything clearly sort of pops and all the sounds dance around each other. Hey, if you sung along to that, then really impressive. But yes, I think you all kind of have heard me say this on the previous songs as well. I especially liked as well that this employed some sounds that we haven't heard so much in the rest of the album. There was the sound what sounded like a strummed mandolin on one side, and then the other side there was it was a picking sound happening on a small instrument that kind of had a banjo-like quality, but I don't think it is a banjo, and apologies, I think it might be a different ethnic instrument of some kind, but you get a lot of those instruments that have that kind of similar tone, and those sounds balanced together was beautiful. But then you had the piano underneath giving this sort of more sustained gravitas to certain notes, the beautiful vocals over the top. I really struggled to pronounce her name. She was giving because it's such a short name, I need to look up the katakana for that. But she was giving this beautiful anthemic vocal over the top, which also really helped because this song had a much more pronounced chorus than some of the other songs. I felt the chorus here really did what a chorus should do. It was both something that would stick in your head, make you want to sing along, and yet at the same time also felt like a genuine payoff for everything that had built up to it, rather than just a song that leans on its chorus. It genuinely feels like it builds up to its choruses, and its choruses are like glorious resolutions. I think, you correct me if I'm wrong, but this song had an interesting time signature thing as well throughout it, which I definitely had an interesting time signature where it was seeming to skip between like a 3/4 and a 4/4, and it was more like a dropped beat than any real time signature, if I'm honest with you. It was more like it would do one phrase with a dropped beat and another phrase in a full 4/4. But that seemed to end at the end. It felt like the song, even in its whole effort to really give a payoff to everything you were hearing, managed to finish with a crescendo where it settled the time signature down. Everything kind of felt genuinely rewarding and concluded at the end. So this was a song that played all of the interesting sonic tactics that the rest of the album had. It employed all of the beautiful sounds, it employed all of those qualities, and yet it did it with such a fantastic sense of purpose, fantastic sense of payoff, and a fantastic sense of building to a conclusion that was there and was rewarding, that as great as many of the other songs are on this album, and yes, we are on track 13, so I've got several tracks to recount and listen to again before I make such a heavy statement as this, but I have to be honest, at the moment, this is the song that I would say felt like it hit me most on first listen. This is a song that I not only would come back to, but I am very keen to listen to again once I finish this review. I really enjoyed this. Now, there was an underlying theme that I kind of got very heavily portrayed in this beautiful video, but also came across in the lyrics, that it's this kind of sense of, reaching for the sky. There was this kind of competition between the artistic and the there's a lot of these scenes where she's got like the flying machines that remind me a lot of, I wish I could remember, like one of the most famous people in history, the Italian guy, Da Vinci. Yes, she's got like these Da Vinci-esque flying machine sort of looks, and then also back here you've got this very Tower of Babel-esque scene, and there's a real feeling that there's a kind of a mixture between science, art, maybe a little bit of an undertone of religion in there as well. There's kind of this idea of the for me, it feels like it's almost conveying the beauty of art, the beauty of science, the beauty of progress. You think of Tower of Babel, it's the sort of religious story, but it's the story of progress, and then obviously that gets knocked down. But it's all about reaching to go higher, and as is this flying machine, reaching to go higher. And whereas a lot of the time when you see stories like this, I hate to say it, but sometimes there is this feeling like there's a conflict between art and science, which is often painted here. It's more sort of the phoenix, or well, not the phoenix. What's the name? Again, I'm really bad at remembering these characters, but the character who flies too close to the sun and wings get burnt, that kind of feeling. Instead, this feels like it's more of a celebration. She's reaching up towards the constellations and everything, and there's a feeling that there's a celebration of progress here. And I find that really refreshing. I feel like it's so common in art to say, oh, man went too far, man tried too much and failed. And it seems like there's a lot of stories and artwork depicting the failure of man and man's hubris. And this feels the opposite. This feels so much like it's about, the joy of discovery and the joy of progress. And I'm not quite sure whether there's some kind of allegory for the moon landing or something here, but, she's looking at there was like a twin moon thing earlier that she's looking up at. She's sitting there, she looks up and she sees, oh, there you go, like twin moons in the sky. And then she reaches up, and I don't know if there's something symbolic about there being two. I mean, again, there's a lot of symbolism and stuff in here that probably people have picked over and found 100 things I don't know, and I'm probably going to get told that I'm just reading all the wrong things into it. I would be very sad if I found out this was actually an allegory for human hubris. But to me, it feels like a celebration of human endeavor. It feels like that beautiful quintessential thing of science and art coming together, and I am probably reading way too much into this, but I liked it. I liked that vibe that it gives off of a sense of reaching for more, reaching up into the stars, reaching for progress. And there were a couple of lines that my Japanese is not always perfect in that I don't always get the nuances in lyrics, but there were a couple of lines that I was listening to there that really gave me that vibe, talking about the sky and dreaming of these kind of things. So I really felt like on some level this probably is a song that both appeals to me in the message, seems to be something that I really enjoyed. Musically, I thought this was gorgeous. And again, I will come back to the fact I really loved the use of the time signature. I thought that was brilliant. It just fit in perfectly. It was written as a 4/4 song. Everything about it feels like it's written in that 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. It feels like it's written exactly like that. All the rhythms apply to that, but there's that sort of dropped beat. 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 kind of vibe. It's not quite like that, but written in that way where a beat's kind of stolen from each time round. So it's just a very subtle technique which gives the song a little bit of an interesting, different edge. Yeah, just this song for me was an absolute cornucopia of joys. But whereas I would say so far the worst parts of this album are maybe, it's not really bad parts, but the parts of the album that maybe haven't hit me as hard are the parts where it just kind of felt like it was just enjoying, maybe just, oh, here's a little bit of funkiness because it sounds good, or here's a song that has meaning but doesn't quite have direction. There have been some songs where it felt like there was a nice idea but it didn't quite come to full fruition, maybe in an attempt to be a little bit more simple and relaxed as this album is trying to do. Some of the songs felt like maybe they haven't quite come to fruition, but they've all got a nice underlying idea. When you get a song like this where it feels like the idea, the concept, everything came to fruition, and yet it still kept all of the qualities that seem to have made the rest of this album so enjoyable. For me, this is just the quintessential example of you nailed the formula on this one. I adored this. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. I will definitely listen to this again. And the video was great as well. I really hope there's nothing in this video which is suddenly someone's going to tell me, oh, actually it's a religious allegory. Please don't do that to me. You're going to do that to me, aren't you? Just the way I'm reading it, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. The way I'm reading it, I find this really, really, really was lovely. And I hope I haven't misread it. But even if I have misread the messaging, I certainly adored the music. And the music was gorgeous, and I'll definitely come back and listen to it again either way. But anyway, I am really looking forward to seeing what you guys say in the comments beneath this one. This one's got me really interesting, because I know there's a lot of Yorushika fans and like diehard fans who watch these, who get in there and like, yeah, just lay out all of the thoughts and the ideas and the realities to me. So I'm really interested to see what you say about this one. But anyway, there you go. Those are my thoughts. Get in the comments, tell me yours, and until I hopefully see you very soon for the next one of these. For now.
Ciao, ciao.